Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Jelani, obviously. Who else would it be? But today I'm gonna be starting my reactions. Yes, it's been years since I've done a actual reaction. Although I did do one a couple months ago to D Chanel. But for this one, this is more in line of commentary over theories of different franchises and stories because I'm a writer. For those of you who don't know, obviously if you follow my channel or anything that I do, you will know that I'm a songwriter as well, and I love writing music. But I'm also working on a book, well, a couple books. But it's had me get involved in various topics with my friends, with people who have read a few of my chapters, and other writers as well online. And one of the things we like to do is go over the different lore in multiple books, in multiple movies, TV shows, and what some theories might be for why certain things happen, about certain characters' background. And one of the most talked about one in my group, anyway, in my group of friends, but one of them is Harry Potter, obviously. Some others is like Charmed and some anime and some other stuff. But for the purpose of this video, is going to be Harry Potter related. And so I got sent a video, and it's basically, well, it says the most believable uh, Harry Potter theories. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is by a channel called Harry Potter Theory. And I will check out some more of the videos because I see they have some other ones. But let's look at this one. It's 10 most believable Harry Potter theories, and let's see if I agree. Come on, let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we're going to be discussing 10 fan theories that actually make quite a lot of sense. And given the colossal numbers of Harry Potter theories out there, it seems only fitting that once in a while we, I'm including myself here, hit the nail on the head. During my time on this channel, I've covered some of the most preposterous theories out there, like Cho Chang marrying Dudley Dursley, and Dumbledore being a time-travelling Ron Weasley. And so these theories, which come across as very reasonable and rational, are a bit of a breath of fresh air. I can't take credit for these theories, but I will be summarizing and dissecting them. Anyway, let's dive in. The Hallows resurrected Harry. In the Deathly Hallows, we witness young Harry Potter confront Voldemort in the Forbidden Forest, and it's here that young Harry, in an act of bravery, faces Voldemort head-on as he subjects himself to the Dark Lord's killing curse. And after being killed, Harry wakes up in a sort of limbo, where he encounters Dumbledore. However, Harry's death certainly doesn't last long. Eventually, Harry is able to return to the land of the living, and there are a few canon explanations for this. The first is that Voldemort simply killed the piece of his own soul inside of Harry, and not Harry himself. For this reason, Harry is given the choice to return to the land of the living. The second reason that Harry didn't die is that Voldemort still lived with Harry's blood in its veins. You see, one of the crucial ingredients in Voldemort's regeneration potion was blood of an enemy. Cue Harry. However, one popular theory on the internet has a third reason for Harry surviving, and it has something to do with him being a master of death. Because he had the loyalty of the Elder Wand, Resurrection Stone, and Invisibility Cloak, he could choose his fate and either carry on to the afterlife or go back. Ron and Hermione are Harry's parents. I know, the title of this theory is questionable, but hear me out.
Oh, hold on. Before we we go on to this part, um, I feel like it's, to me, him surviving. I don't know. Of course, the whole story of three brothers, the Hollows, Master of Death, and all that stuff. I don't know. And Horcrux is a tricky topics anyway. As I mean, just having a living Horcrux in and of itself is tricky, right? Um, I don't know, because Nagini was, but then again, Nagini was beheaded. she got, she was, her head was sliced off, so I don't think there was any coming back for her. I don't know, it's kind of different. It's different.
This theory suggests that Ron and
But
Hermione,
I
Harry,
think the most feasible one, I would say, would probably be the Hollows bringing him back or just keeping him from dying. Although I just feel like the Horcrux would take the brunt of it because in other instances in the book, for example, when Moody was trying to control him with the Imperious Curse um, in the book, I feel like the Horcrux kind of helped him regain his consciousness, I guess, or help him fight it off because it's multiple things. I don't know. It's hard.
his two best friends, actually played the part of parental roles in Harry's life. The main foundation of the theory is that, for an orphan with no relatives to teach him the ways of the world, Harry
Oh,
actually
the reason why I don't believe in the blood one, with him, Voldemort having the blood, one, because I don't. That's not how Horcruxes work. I don't feel like. I don't know. Although I did hear people say it because of the what's it called? The sacrificial love that um, his mother did, and the reason why he was with his aunt, because of the whole blood thing, he had to be, living with someone who shared the same blood to carry on that protection. I don't know if it would be the same thing with Voldemort doing it. I don't know.
turned out a lot better than he probably should have, and this theory gives Ron and Hermione credit. Ron was there to act as a father figure and teach him about the wizarding world, and Hermione was there to act as a nurturing mother figure, serving as a source of comfort and emotional support for Harry throughout the series, similar to how Lily provided love and protection for her son. Pair all of that with the fact that Ron was a snarky pureblood, like James, and Hermione was a clever muggleborn, like Lily, and you've got yourself a fairly reasonable theory. Dumbledore intended Harry to fail at occlumency. Harry takes occlumency lessons with Snape in the
I have nothing to say about that last theory. Is that, I can see that.
1995 to 1996 school year. The reason for these lessons being that Snape and Dumbledore become concerned that Harry's mind is vulnerable to intrusion by Lord Voldemort. Occlumency, the art of closing one's mind to prevent magical intrusion and influence, is seen as a way to protect Harry's mind from Voldemort's attempts to infiltrate it. However, one popular theory on the internet suggests that it was never Dumbledore's intention for Harry to become a skilled occlumens. Rather, he wanted him to fail at it. The theory posits that Dumbledore knew all along that the occlumency lessons would only cause Harry to further open his mind rather than close it, as advertised. The reason? Well, Dumbledore may have hoped that Harry's adolescent emotional outbursts would gradually impact Voldemort, resulting in him making an irrational decision, such as heading to the Ministry and exposing himself. This one does make some sense. After all, occlumency is one of the most impressive abilities in the wizarding world. Some after-class lessons with Snape just don't seem like quite enough.
I feel like that to me, while it is feasible, I feel like even if you wanted him to fail it, um, I would think it would benefit Harry more than it would impact Voldemort. The reason being is if he fails it, and obviously the whole point of the way Snape did it was, probing his mind. And I think that would lead Harry to kind of like look within himself or try to, um, think more and or maybe even he himself trying to peer into Voldemort, maybe use that connection. I don't know. The reason why I feel like, because Voldemort is pretty intelligent, and while he can be a little volatile, he's, and I think when it comes to Harry, regardless of anything, Voldemort would have made irrational decisions anyway because of his ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, Voldemort is very, his ego is through the roof. He feels like he's the best, no one can best him, and he wants to be the one to beat um, Harry. He wants to be the one to best him himself. And I think Dumbledore knew that, so I don't think he would use this route to kind of get into Voldemort's psyche. Harry just existing alone is enough to throw Voldemort off his axle.
Dementors loved Harry. Now, Harry's had his fair share of run-ins with Dementors, that's for sure, but were his copious run-ins with Dementors sheer dumb misfortune, or were they constantly drawn to Harry for another reason? When Dementors attack people, they use what is called the Dementor's Kiss, which is effectively the act of sucking out that person's soul. So my question is, if their main motivation is to suck out more souls, then why should they be particularly drawn to Harry? Here's what I think.
Yes, two
The
of them.
Dementors were attracted to the extra soul that Harry carried with him.
There we go.
Unwillingly, Harry went about his life with an extra soul strapped to him, and I think that this made him a target to Dementors, a sort of two for the price of one. Harry and the Basilisk. In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, it doesn't take long for young Harry Potter to encounter the Basilisk within...
Because if you think about it, two souls in one body is kind of against nature, right? Dementors, even though they were magically created, they're like primordial forces in a sense, because you can't really kill them. You can, ward them off, but they'll always exist so long as there is fear and despair and sadness in the world. So the guy who created the Dementors, I forgot his name, he's a dark wizard. Brilliant. He's a brilliant, because he uses that negative energy to create such creatures, immortal creatures essentially. But yeah,
said chamber, a beast that could only be controlled by the heir of Slytherin. Harry has a bit of a hard time with the Basilisk before eventually defeating it, all thanks to the Sword of Gryffindor. However, one theory on the internet suggests that Harry shouldn't have had much of a hard time at all. Here's why. Because Harry had a fragment of Voldemort's soul within him, the Basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets should have recognized him as another heir of Slytherin and potentially obeyed his commands. Harry shared a ton of traits with Voldemort thanks to the piece of Voldemort's soul inside of him. So why not this one? Harry and Ron, powerful...
Oh, yeah. Or maybe because the Basilisk, and I always forget that there's a K at the end of the Basilisk. The Basilisk. I know it's pronounced a K. I'm trying to feel like maybe the Basilisk and the magic involved with it knows that it is not actually Voldemort, right? Like, he knows, he can recognize that it's probably a Horcrux, and maybe Voldemort can't, or I don't know, dark magic, right? But I feel like the Basilisk is intelligent, so I think it will be able to tell the difference. That this is not Voldemort, right? It's just but then the Voldemort that was controlling the Basilisk was also just a fragmented soul too. I know. I feel like the Basilisk would be able to know. And also, Harry didn't try, I don't think. Right? Because Tom already told him don't bother trying, because he only, listens to him. I don't know.
Seers? When it came to the subject of divination at Hogwarts, not many were interested, Harry and Ron included. For the most part, divination came across as a bunch of unreliable hodgepodge that, just like lightning, eventually strikes. However, one popular theory on the internet suggests that Harry and Ron may have had an unconscious knack for the subject. In The Prisoner of Azkaban, the pair playfully brainstormed numerous harsh predictions for their homework assignment, dismissing the absurdity of the topic. Surprisingly, however, every prediction they made about Harry's future eventually materialized. Harry faced the threat of burns during the Triwizard Tournament.
And then that's some shit like this woman Trelawney was right. Like every time. Like every time. It's crazy.
Was betrayed by the imposter Mad-Eye Moody, and tragically met his demise in the forest at the hands of Voldemort. Perhaps the pair were more adept at divination than they gave themselves credit for. Dumbledore protected Hogwarts more than anyone knew. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, a renowned educational institution in the wizarding world, has been a subject of debate when it comes to safety. While Hogwarts is seen as a magical haven where young witches and wizards can learn and develop their skills, there are also evident dangers lurking within its walls. Several incidents throughout the Harry Potter series expose the vulnerabilities of Hogwarts. From troll attacks to a basilisk roaming the hidden chambers, the school has faced its fair share of perilous situations. Students have found themselves in life-threatening circumstances during events like the Triwizard Tournament and encounters with dark creatures. And
I mean, it's a magical school in a magical world filled with wizards. I'm like, you can't account for everything. Like, I don't know.
all of these events, the finger was often pointed at one man, Headmaster Albus Dumbledore. However, one theory on the internet suggests that Dumbledore may have protected Hogwarts better than we all thought. The proof? No student ever died while he was headmaster. It's entirely possible that during his tenure, Dumbledore placed some sort of enchantment on the school's grounds to ensure that, no matter the circumstance, students always made it out alive. Seems plausible to me. Harry...
I don't know about that. I mean, Dumbledore is extremely powerful, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he can cast a spell that prevents death. I feel like possibly the only thing that was not within his control, two things. Well, okay, maybe more than two. One was the basilisk situation. He didn't know who the heir was, and he surely couldn't have thought that a fragment of Voldemort's soul was roaming the castle. Like, because I don't think he knew about the Horcruxes then. And, well, and the other part about it too, at some point he was removed from the school, so he wasn't even there the whole time. What else? The whole Sirius Black thing happening, him breaking into the school, well, with help from Remus, I think. Yeah, I feel like everything else was within his control. Yeah, I feel like he did well. And then also too, he's not just safeguarding the school. He also had to like take up the role to like cover the incompetent Ministry of Magic because he also had to defend the world against friggin' Voldemort and his return. And then when after he returned, he had to try and convince people that he's back. And it's like, I don't know. And even he knew that Voldemort would come back at some point. Like, he knew that. He just didn't know how he would come, but he knew he would come back. And so he was also trying to deal with that and trying to figure out how is this going to happen, you know? So it's like doing the minister's job without actually being the minister's the minister. So I don't know.
The Obscurial. An Obscurial is a young witch or wizard who is physically or emotionally abused to the point that they feel the need to repress their magic and hide their abilities. This repression is directly related to trauma.
And then in the book, right, so I'm gonna go back. But then also in the book, there was a whole character, a poltergeist, Peeves, that literally manifested through the natural mischief of the students. So I'm like, it's a world of magic. Things are gonna be chaotic. Things are gonna be happening that you can't foresee and control. As great as Dumbledore was, like, come on.
Seems plausible to me. Harry the Obscurial. An obscurial is a young witch or wizard who is physically or emotionally abused to the point that they feel the need to repress their magic and hide their abilities. This repression is directly related to trauma experienced as a result of their magic and a development of hatred, fear, or shame in regard to their powers. These extremely negative emotions, combined with their attempt to suppress their magic, then turns into a parasitical force comprised of dark magic, known as an obscurus. Obscurials are often young children who usually don't live past their preteen years. One theory here is that Dumbledore intentionally left Harry with the Dursleys in order to turn him into an obscurial and potentially powerful weapon that could be used against Voldemort.
No, I don't
However,
agree with
this is
that.
probably the least plausible theory
Yeah.
on the list. There are a number of reasons why this theory makes little sense, including the fact that Voldemort had just been defeated when he was left at the Dursleys, the fact that obscurials are notoriously difficult to control, and the fact that Harry didn't even know about his magical abilities. How could he have suppressed something he didn't know he had?
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking the Elder Wand. The first thing worth mentioning here is that the fate of the Elder Wand varied from book to film. In the book, after repairing his own wand, Harry lays the Elder Wand to rest with Dumbledore. In the film, however, a very different course of action is taken. In the film, the fate of the wand is far more drastic, as Harry dramatically snaps it in half. However,
I didn't like that. I personally did not like that. I think there was something floating around that said that J.K. Rowling liked that ending in the movie, and that's cool and all. But I preferred her original idea of putting the wand to rest with Dumbledore. I feel like that was a better. I'm from and this is me thinking far because I always like, whenever I watch anything or read anything, I like to think ahead of possible spin-offs or whatever. I'm like, the one thing that can repair a wand, I am not gonna get rid of it because there's nothing, there's no other way to repair a broken wand except the Elder Wand. And people not there's people who's like, oh, the Elder Wand is nothing special. I'm like, that in and of itself is special. Like all the wand makers there that exist always say there's no way to repair, a broken wand. The Elder Wand exists, but I digress. But yeah, I didn't like that snapping of the wand.
one thing is consistent from book to film: Harry being worried about the power of the wand.
Yeah.
And something that many people have taken issue with is just how easily Harry snapped.
I also believe that the Deathly Hallows are somewhat sentient. Somewhat. At least, if not all three of them, I feel like obviously the Elder One is. All wands are. But I feel like the Elder One has a different level, a different effect on people. I mean, just its existence alone creates trouble, but I feel like the Elder One itself has some level, of external influence, on the wielder and perhaps other people.
The most powerful wand in the world. This wand had existed for an exceedingly long time and showed no signs of damage. So how on earth did Harry snap it like
It's
a
made
twig?
of wood.
One internet
It's
theory
literally
chiming in here suggests that Harry only had the power to break the wand because he was master of death. Cedric and the Portkey. This one's a bit morbid.
I feel like you can snap anyone. To be honest, I don't think it's that hard to snap one. Because I feel like after the Elder Wand, like Harry's and Voldemort's wand would be up there in terms of power, being Phoenix feathers, right? And Phoenix feather wands are notoriously hard to make. First of all, finding a phoenix is hard. It's hard, and it's just hard alone. But making them into wands is even harder, and then, being able to use them is even harder. Like they're loyal to its wielder. But I think a wand is just a wand. It's a piece of twig. It's gonna snap.
You're still overly emotional over the death of Cedric, consider this your warning. In the Goblet of Fire, we encounter a shocking and emotional moment as Harry grabs the
The Goblet of Fire was such. The book for Goblet of Fire is so good. That could have been a multiple movie situation for that book. Like there was so much in that book that was left out. Anyways.
Wizard Cup portkey with one hand and touches Cedric's dead body with the other, transporting them both from the maze back to Hogwarts. The moment symbolizes Harry's loss of innocence and marks a turning point in the series. However, some fans of the series were quick to point out that they had seen no other instances of
Mappy
people
old
traveling
boots.
through a portkey indirectly, that is, via someone else holding onto them. In every other instance, a person could only be transported if they touched a portkey themselves. They can, however, bring along as many objects as they'd like. If that's the case, how did Harry bring Cedric with him? The morbid theory suggests that because Cedric had died and his soul had left his body, he was no longer a person. And because his body was now just an empty container, Harry was able to transport Cedric's body as he would any other object. Ouch. And that's it for this video. Which of these
Um, I feel like I don't know. I feel like they would be able to just travel, even if he was alive. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, Cedric's death was, whew, I don't know, that was crazy. But yeah, I still feel like the Goblet of Fire should have been a multiple movie, maybe at least two movies. You know what I'm saying? At least two. And heck, if people watched a friggin' 4 hour long Lord of the Rings movie, I'm pretty sure somebody would have watched a 4 hour long Harry Potter movie, especially back then. It's be interesting to see how they do it for the show. I know they're doing a series. I think it's a 10-year series, right? 10 seasons. So I don't know how that's gonna work out. But yeah, but some of the series I can see, some not so much. I feel like Dumbledore did his best he can to safeguard the school and the Wizarding World at large for the second time, for the second time in his old age. Um, and we can have a discussion about that. But yeah, yeah, I feel like I agree with some of them. Harry coming back to life, I feel like it has more to do with the fact that the Horcrux would take the brunt of the um the curse. I feel like, you know what I'm saying. I feel like that's what would happen. Because if two people are holding hands and I hit one of you with a killing curse, it's not going to kill both of you, right? And in other instances too, with the other Horcruxes, the Horcrux protects its vessel. Like the whole thing about it is that it's can be destroyed by regular means. And like I've said, being a living Horcrux is kind of a different situation. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what else you want me to react to or comment on, whatever theories you got, and we can discuss it. Peace out. Bye.